I am the brand ambassador for Bacardi portfolio for South India and Sri Lanka. I work out of Bangalore, and I graduated with a hotel management degree from Christ College in 2008, and I worked with Saurav after my college as a management trainee along with him at Intercontinental, the Lalit in Delhi. And I moved on to working with a lot of five-star hotels and then a lot of clubs, bars, and restaurants across the country. And it's been close to 2.5 years now that I'm with Bacardi. If you ask me what is the job of a brand ambassador, I would simply put it as talk and walk the brand. So I do a lot of trainings to bartenders, to uh, people who want to be bartenders, and I create drink strategies for the portfolio of the brands what we have. And also I do a lot of consumer sessions for our different brands. Mostly Bacardi is just known as a rum brand across the country. They think that Bacardi only makes rum, but you will be surprised to know that we have a huge portfolio. We've got Bacardi rum, we have got Grey Goose vodka, which is one of the most premium vodka in the country. In gin, we've got Bombay Sapphire. In whiskey, we have got a portfolio called Doers, and we also have Aberfeldy as a single malt. In wines, we have got Martini, Vermouth, and sparkling wine. So we got a huge portfolio. So I advocate the brand in South India and in Sri Lanka. Um, my intent of hosting this session today is to show you all the basics of making a drink. I'm going to make a couple of drinks today and explain you what are the intrinsics of making a simple drink and how you could start working on making simple drinks even at home. It's not necessary that you need alcohol for all the drinks. How you could save up probably a little bit on the sustainability side of it, because we are in this time of COVID-19 quarantine, right? So that's what I'm planning to do right now. I hope you all enjoy the session. If you all have any questions, you can shoot it across me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah. So I have got a little bar set up behind, and I'm going to go back there and start talking to you all. If you are not able to hear me and my voice is not audible, please remind me. Some people do tell me that I have this problem of speaking in the same tone all the time, and it puts people off to sleep. I know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't want you all to sleep off. So let me know if you're not able to hear me. Okay, so welcome back again. What I'm going to show you all today is probably basic bar tools which you would need to make a great tasting cocktail. It's not necessary that you need to buy them or you need to own them. You can still do without it, but I would like to explain to you all how a bartender would use these tools and how does he use these tools in making a great drink, right? Now, the most important tool for a bartender in any of the bar is this one. This is called a peg measure, right? It's also called a jigger. Now, this has got 30 ml on one side and 60 ml on one side. This is used for measuring alcohol or your syrup or your lemon juice, anything which is liquid. You can use this to measure it. The standard measure in according to the excise rules all over the country is 30 ml and 60 ml. However, I think it's only in UP, it's 25 and 50 ml. Rest of the country is 30 and 60 ml. Now, another important tool is your bar spoon. All right. I hope you can see the spoon. Now, it is a very long spoon, so you can use it to stir your drink. You can use this to pick a couple of ingredients and put them. And you will also see that the bar spoon has got a spiral thing on the bar spoon. Most of the bar spoons has got a spiral thing on it, and it usually has a coin on top. Some of them do have a three-forked, a pointed fork or a fork sort of a thing which you can pick up the garnishes or fruits or something like that. But I don't really recommend that. It's very dangerous. Why is this spiral thing on the spoon? Is because if you are trying to pour a carbonated ingredient like a soda or probably a tonic water or ginger ale or Sprite or something, the bartenders would probably pick the bottle like this and put the bottle on top of the spoon and pour it inside the glass so that they don't lose the carbonation, and the carbonation slowly flows inside through this spiral which is there, and it also helps in making layered drinks. That's why this spiral thing is there in the spoon. You can use a regular spoon if you have it at home, and I'm sure everybody has this at home. This is a tea spoon which you can use in your cocktails. And another important thing is the cocktail shaker. Now, what I have here is a two-piece cocktail shaker which we use in most of the bars. It is made of stainless steel. There is another shaker called the Boston shaker. So there are actually three different types of shaker. One is called a Boston shaker, which has one side as glass and the other side is saying stainless steel. This is a two-piece shaker, and there is another shaker called the three-piece or a cobbler shaker. So that shaker has one pin, a small cap on top of that, another tiny cap on top of that. So you could shake it and pour everything out from that. All right. There is another shaker which is called a Parisian shaker. Vatel is from Paris, I guess, France. So I'm going to show you a Parisian shaker, and this is how a Parisian shaker looks. This I picked it up from Paris. So the difference with this shaker and this one is that, see the difference how it looks. This is a little bulged head. So this is a great tool for making cocktails too. It gives a better aeration in the cocktails than the shakers, but you need some expertise to use the shaker. If you don't have any of the shakers at home and you intend to make a cocktail, just use a simple pickle jar if you have at home, or any other kind of jar. I'm going to explain you how shaking cocktail works, so you will be able to use probably even a water bottle, a wide mouth water bottle, to make a cocktail or a mocktail at home. Another important tool for bartenders is called the Hawthorne strainer. I hope you can see this. This is called a Hawthorne strainer. Now, after I have used this shaker to shake a cocktail, I would put this Hawthorne strainer on top of my tin and then pour everything out so that all the ice, the ingredients, everything stays back inside and only the liquid comes out. This also has a spring here. The spring is basically to hold ingredients like mint leaves or any other leaves or herbs which you're trying to use in a cocktail. This would hold the leaves, right? There is another strainer which is called a Calabrese strainer. This is a little different. This has spring all around. This also is used in a similar way, but this goes completely inside and you hold it and you pour it out. And this is how it works. I hope I'm not going too fast. It's okay, right?
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Great, great. So let's start by making a cocktail. The first one which I'm going to do is a very simple cocktail which is called a highball. Now, you all must be using this kind of a glass in restaurants and bars, and the glass is called highball. You know what the interesting part about why this glass is called highball is actually the name of the drink called the highball. The highball is nothing but scotch and soda. It is a glass filled with ice, scotch and soda, and that's called a highball. There was a gentleman called Tommy Dewar who was part of promoting Dewar's whiskey across the world. He walked into different bars and he said, "Hey guys, why are you drinking whiskey in a small glass? Why don't you put it in a tall glass, pour soda in it?" And this is called a highball. And now the glass itself is named as highball, and that's how it got its name. What I'm going to make today is a highball made with rum, a little bit of a different twist. So before you make any drink, remember always that your glass needs to be chilled depending on what kind of drink you're going to make. Now, for example, the glass which I'm using here is a very thick glass. So if I put any drink inside this, I'm afraid that the temperature of the drink might go up. So I will start chilling my glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ice inside the glass, and just stir it. If you are doing this in a bar or at home, you can probably put the glass in the freezer or the fridge so it will stay chilled. All right. I'm going to put some ice and just stir it a little. So I have a bit of a chilled glass here and take out all the water which is there in this. Now, what I'm going to do is make a drink with Bacardi Ocho, which is a rum which is aged for 8 years. All right. Now, there is popular cocktails like rum and coke or scotch and soda or a lot of drinks which just has got mixer in it. You can drink vodka with Sprite and drink a lot of them. But what is so important about making a simple drink with spirit and a mixer is something which I would like to share and I want you all to understand. Right now, most of your alcohol has got an alcohol percentage of 40% or 42.8% if you pick it up from the store. Now, why is it always 42.8%? Why not 50% or why not 60%? The fact is that if the alcohol percentage is more than 55 or probably 60, then it is very harsh on your palate and you might end up burning. I mean having a burning sensation on your palate. At the same time, the best way you could enjoy a spirit if the spirit has around or the drink has around 15% of alcohol in it. I'm sure you all study a lot about wines, right? You never mix anything with wine and you drink the wine on its own. Now, what is the alcohol percentage of wine? Somewhere between 12 to 15%. That's exactly what you need to do when you make a drink with spirit and a mixer. Now I'll show you how. Okay, now this glass is of around 300 ml. So I just removed all the ice. I'm going to fill in some fresh ice cubes. Now since I have filled the glass with ice cubes, I will probably be left with around 150 or 160 ml of space inside the glass. What I am going to do now is pour the rum, around 45 ml of the rum inside the glass. All right. Now, this is a 40% alcohol spirit. This is a rum which is aged for 8 years, made in Mexico. And now to this, I'm going to mix ginger ale. All right. Ginger ale is a carbonated drink. You can probably mix tonic water or soda or something. I love ginger ale with rum. So what I'm going to do is 45 plus 45, 1:2 part. So that is going to be 45 ml and another 45 ml. So a little more, close to around 100 ml. Now this has got 45 ml of the spirit and that is 1 part and 2 parts of the mixer, that is around 100 ml. Now the alcohol percentage of this drink has come down to 15%. And this is the best way you will enjoy any spirit. Now you walk into a bar, your friend might say, I want 2 cubes of ice and fill the glass with water, right? Then the ratio will go up to maybe 1:5 and he says, I'm not enjoying my drink. The reason is because if it is at between 12 to 15%, you will enjoy the spirit much more. And now I'm just going to squeeze a lemon wedge on top of this, drop it inside. Just give it a small stir so that the carbonated ginger ale comes up, the rum gets mixed, and then here's my drink, which you can probably make at home. The same way you could do a scotch and soda, you could also do gin and tonic, you could also do a vodka and any tonic water or anything like that. Just drop in a lemon wedge and this is going to taste great. All right, now there's your first thing. It's called an Ocho highball because the rum which I used is Bacardi Ocho. So it's called an Ocho highball. I think I forgot to push the chair on, right? Okay, so there's your first simple drink which is called a highball. Now this way of making a cocktail is called built-up cocktail. There are basically 3 basic ways of how you could make a drink. One is built up, the way which I did now. Second is shaken, and the third one is stirred. Now, one more thing which I probably forgot to tell you while I made this drink is that there is a misconception of probably what most of you all must be thinking is that you put so much of ice. Wouldn't there be a lot of dilution when you put so much of ice? No, actually the science works the other way. If you put more ice, there is less dilution, and if you put less ice, there is more dilution. You can probably try this at home. Take 2 glasses and fill up a glass with ice, pour some water in it, and fill up another glass with little ice and water. That is going to get diluted much quicker than this one, because when you put more ice, the temperature of the drink is much lesser, and it takes a longer time to dilute. So if you are thinking that I put less ice in my drink, then there is less dilution. No, you will get more dilution if you put less ice. Cool. Now the second drink which I want to make is 2 drinks. I'm basically making these 2 drinks to show you all the difference between how you could pick a simple drink and create a twist to it and make it a great tasting drink. All right. Now, if you have probably seen my videos on Facebook or Instagram, you would have seen me saving a lot of ingredients which I use to make my next drink, which I'm going to explain it to you later on. But now I'm going to make 2 drinks, which one is called the daiquiri and the other one is called Made in Cuba. All right, both are made with rum, which is Bacardi Carta Blanca. I'm an ambassador for Bacardi rum, so I have to do that. Right. Anyway, so I'm going to make 2 simple drinks. First thing, as I told you earlier, let's chill these glasses so that we don't have a drink which is not chilled. All right. Yeah, so I've chilled these glasses here. Now let me explain you what is the drink which I'm going to make. Now the drink daiquiri is a very simple drink which is made with just rum, lime, and sugar. An interesting history is that there in Cuba there was a beach called Daiquiri, and closer to the beach they used to do a lot of mining. And one of the mining engineers, his name was Jennings Cox, he mixed the ration which was given to the employees, which is rum mixed with some lime and sugar in a tall glass, and he gave it to everybody. They all loved it, and they said, why shouldn't we name the drink as daiquiri? And that's how it got its name, the daiquiri. And it's got rum, lime, and sugar. So let's understand first, why is it necessary to shake a cocktail, right? You must be thinking, why do bartenders shake a cocktail? You can just mix the same way I mix this drink and just drink it. Why is it necessary to shake a cocktail? The reason is you have spirit, you have sugar, and you've got lime juice. When you shake it, number one, it gets really chilled. The spirit tastes great when it is chilled. Number two, it gets aerated. There is a lot of aeration when you put 2 things in a tin and start shaking it. There's a lot of aeration, which gives a good texture for you to drink it when you want to drink it. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 drinks for 2 glasses. So 1 drink each. And I'm going to show you all what I'm pouring. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour some lime juice. All right. So I've got around 25 ml of lime juice here and 25 ml of lime juice here. Remember one more basic, while you're making any cocktail, it's probably at a bar or at home, always put the cheapest ingredient first in the glass. You know why? If you probably poured an expensive alcohol like rum inside, while you're pouring the lemon juice, if you put too much of it, you will try and balance it. If you have not put the cheapest ingredient, you can just throw it and make a fresh one and not spoil an expensive ingredient, right? So I put some lemon juice, 25 ml. I am going to add sugar syrup. So I've got some simple syrup, 1:1, just sugar and water, sugar with hot water. So I'm going to add 25 ml of sugar here. Okay. Now, Bacardi Carta Blanca is the rum which I'm using to make this drink. So I'm going to make a daiquiri in this. This drink is called the Made in Cuba. I'm going to tell you what the difference is. All right. Now, here I'm going to pour around 50 ml of Bacardi Carta Blanca in this. And also I'm going to pour another 50 ml of Bacardi Carta Blanca in this. This is a very light, crisp and refreshing rum which I'm using. Now what I'm going to do is I've got some cucumber slices, all right. I've got around 4 cucumber slices. I'm just going to drop them inside a made in Cuba. And I'll take around 6 to 7 mint leaves, okay. And I'm just going to tear the mint leaves, all right, and just drop them inside. So what I'm doing is giving a twist to my drink of daiquiri with just mint and cucumber. This drink was invented by a bartender called Tom Walker, right? So now we need to shake this drink. So I'm going to fill my other tin which I had with ice. Yeah. Take as much ice as you can, and the amount of dilution on the drink is based on the kind of ice you're going to use in making the drink. Now, how does that work? Every ice cube has got a surface area. Let me explain to you in this way. If you use smaller ice cubes, the surface area of the ice is more. When the liquid rolls over that surface area, the dilution is much more. If you use bigger ice cubes, the dilution is less because the surface area of 10 big ice cubes is much lesser than the surface area of 20-25 small ice cubes. All right. So what I'm going to do is I put ice in this one. I'm going to pour everything here, and now we got to shake it. Now, how do we shake it? Is there a rule that it should be shaken this way? No, there is absolutely no rule. You can shake it the way you want, but you have to shake it to wake it up. You can hold it and shake it like this. You can literally dance. You can do whatever you want to do. While you're shaking it out, you can see the frosting on the tin. You can feel that the drink is chilled. I'm going to kick it out, and then I'm going to use this glass and use my other strainer which goes on top of this, and then use a tea strainer and pour the drink inside this glass. All right, now here we have the daiquiri. This is just the rum, lime and sugar. Okay, now the next drink which I have here in this one is the made in Cuba. Rum, lime, sugar, mint leaves and cucumber inside this. I'm going to fill this with ice. Okay, and I'm going to pour all of this inside with the cucumber and mint leaves. And again, I'm going to give it another shake. Okay. So I'm going to throw this ice out. You can see that the glass is pretty much chilled. Now you will see that this has a different color. Now when you're using this kind of shaker, you never need to hit it like this and open it. It's very simple. If it is crossed like this, turn it around, just put your thumb and it opens up. It's as simple as it can be. So put the strainer again, and then we will pour this drink. I think you can probably see the difference in the color. This has got a light greenish color. I'll see if I can bring it up close to the camera. Okay. And now I am going to take a small cucumber slice. Where did I keep my knife? Okay, I think I can have it. I will place it here on the right as a garnish, and I will probably drop in a simple mint leaf as garnish for this one. So here's my drink made in Cuba. Here, this is the daiquiri, and here's another drink which is the Ocho highball. Now, while making a lot of drinks at home, you must be using lemon wedges, lemon peels. Once you squeeze out the lemon juice from the lemon or nimbu, you usually dump them in the dustbin, right? During probably in the 1900s, early 1900s, lemon was something which was really, really expensive. and it was not as cheap as what it was today. So they always found a way how they could preserve the lemon juice or the lemon wedges. And that is how your cordial was invented by a bartender. There is something called oleosaccharum, which you guys can make at home. Now, once you have used these lemon wedges or lemon, you squeeze it at home with a lemon squeezer. Just put some sugar in it, muddle it a little, and keep it aside for around 2 hours, and then put it inside your fridge for probably 24 hours. Then take it out, just add a little bit of warm water, strain it out, and put it in the fridge. You will have something called an oleosaccharum cordial. You can use this for your tea, what you're making at home, like a black tea. You want to, instead of adding lemon, you could just add a spoon of this. If you want to make a lemonade at home, just pour maybe 30 or 50 ml of that and top it up with soda. You'll have a oleosaccharum cordial. Now, during this time, you get a lot of fruits at home. You get pineapple, you get watermelon, you get a lot of other fruits, which gives you a lot of juice. Sometimes you make juice, or you probably don't pick up a watermelon because it's around 7-8 kilos, and you think you cannot finish it in one day, it's going to go bad. The best way you can utilize all these fruits is once you juice it out, just add some sugar to it and a little bit of apple cider vinegar and keep it in the fridge, and the juice is would be called a shrub, S-H-R-U-B, shrub. You can Google it too, and that can be kept in the fridge for more than a month. So whenever you feel like having a simple drink at home, non-alcoholic, you could just take that shrub, top it up with soda or Sprite and drink it, or you can just mix it with any of the spirits, shake it, and also drink it with them. So that's one way you can save whatever fruits or juices you're getting at home. Even if you're making coffee, right? After you use, probably, for example, tea, you usually throw the tea leaves, right? After you make tea, what you could do is just put water in that, boil it a little, and just strain out that tea water, add sugar, and add some vinegar to it. It becomes a tea shrub. You can make beautiful iced teas at home with the leftover tea leaves which you use after making the Indian masala chai. That also can be used to make a lot of iced teas at home. Right? Great. Saurabh, I think I'm up for questions. If someone wants to ask me any questions on anything what I've done or anything to do with spirits, I'm open for questions. I'm just going to come close to the laptop.
Okay, so we have one question from Anil Vegmi.
Yeah.
If alcohol strength should be 12 to 15%, then how much alcohol strength is there in light tea, as it contains many white spirits?
Sorry, I didn't understand that question. What was that?
So if alcohol strength should be 12 to 15%, then how much alcohol strength is there in light tea, LIT?
LIT.
Oh, Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any South Indians here, but oh yeah, you know, Long Island iced tea is nothing but khichdi, all right? It's 5 different spirits mixed with Coke. It depends on the amount of Coke you pour. It's the alcohol strength would probably go to 50 or 60% also, but it will not go more than 40% because the bottle of spirit which you're using does not have more than 40% alcohol. So no matter what you mix, it will never go above 40%. But let me tell you this: when you know what happens when you have alcohol in your body, the first thing it does is it enters your bloodstream, right, and slowly goes up to your brain. Now, your human body can only filter around 60 ml of alcohol in 1 hour. Okay, but the problem with us is when we start drinking, we will have probably a peg of whiskey in maybe 10 to 12 minutes, and the sodium and iodine content in the body starts reducing. Now, where do you get that from? Your salted peanuts, peanut masala, chips, chili chicken, and all these things. That is where you get your salt, your iodine from. You will start eating that, and then your body is dehydrating, you're supposed to drink water. But what would you do? Most of the bars don't serve water, or you probably have a glass of beer or whiskey right in front of you, you will start drinking it. Again, your sodium and iodine goes down, right? Then again, you start drinking. So it's a continuous process till the time you fall off the chair. And youngsters like us, probably we start drinking, we finish maybe 6 drinks, and we're so hungry, and we probably belt half a kilo of biryani after that. And your body is like, dude, you already have put around half a bottle of whiskey over that biryani. How the hell am I supposed to digest this? And then you need water to filter the alcohol and the food for digestion. But you go to your bed and sleep off. Next day, wake up in the morning, the first thing you say, Sala Royal Stag pee ke mere ko hangover ho gaya. It has got nothing to do with the brand. It's got nothing to do with the spirit. Drink responsibly. The best you could do is maybe after 2 drinks, take a break, have a liter of water or probably half a liter of water, continue drinking, no problem. When you want to finish drinking, you want to go to bed, take a small walk, probably 20-30 minutes, drink 1 or 2 liters of water, go to bed. You will wake up as fresh as any other day.
Great.
I can name few kids in our final year who came to class in the first year and they were having a very bad hangover. Third day of the college. Third day of the college. Third day of the college.
Monta, please.
Shall I ask?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Yes, please,
sir. The alcohol content you said about 50 ml plus equal amount of sugar syrup. So what I see as a layman is that when you add sugar to alcohol, the effect and the hit goes double. So, but in both your drinks, you have equal amounts of alcohol and sugar. Is that not dangerous?
First of all, alcohol mixed with sugar is getting you high is a misconception. There is nothing like that. Alcohol mixed with sugar will never actually hit you more than just drinking alcohol on its own. The way we usually drink alcohol is if you want to enjoy drinking your spirit, for say a whiskey, an expensive or a premium whiskey, it's better you enjoy it on its own because probably you like the taste of it. It's not necessary that you need to make a drink out of it. But having a cocktail is probably you could enjoy a good spirit mixed with something else, take your own sweet time and enjoy drinking rather than just drinking to get high. And when I say 1:1 of sugar syrup, if you don't want to use sugar in drinking, you can absolutely replace that with honey. But when you use honey in making a cocktail, honey has a very distinctive characteristic of getting hard or probably getting frozen when it falls on ice. So the best way to use honey is mix 1 part of honey with 1 part of warm water and make a honey syrup. And you can use that in your cocktails.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Avinash sir.
Yeah.
I have some idea about the history of cocktails, like how they started from the time of Great Depression. Could you just elaborate the students about that thing also? Because our first years have this topic in the coming semester.
All right. See, there is no proven or written fact about how a cocktail originated or probably how the name cocktail was born, right? There are a lot of theories around it. But if you look at history as such, every country tried to make a spirit out of whatever excessive ingredient they had and started drinking it on its own. And initially, the spirit was considered as a medicine rather than drinking to get high, which is most of the chemists who came up with mixing drinks. That is what they started telling people. And if you look at gin, which was actually a medicine initially, if you look at another interesting story is when Britishers were actually carrying a lot of laborers from one country to another country in ships, a lot of people used to die because of a disease called scurvy. So one of the doctors said, if you mix rum with lime juice and give it to them, then they'll get rid of scurvy. So they started mixing rum and lime juice and giving it to them, which was called grog. Then it became a navy grog. Slowly, people wanted a different flavor, and that they started mixing mint leaves in that. It came off the shore from a navy grog to bars. It was called El Drake, and then it became mojito, which is popularly called now. So mojito is rum, lime, sugar, and mint leaf. So history of cocktails is such a topic that I can probably go on talking about for hours. Another interesting history about another cocktail which I would like to tell everybody is gin and tonic. Right now, gin and tonic is a drink which Britishers claim to be their own drink, but the tonic water which is sold in England is called an Indian tonic water. There is a particular flavor of Indian tonic water. So this story is from actually the state of Karnataka was called Mysore before. I'm sure you must have heard of this guy called Tipu Sultan who was ruling it, and there were a lot of British soldiers. They were fighting the war against the British soldiers, and malaria was a disease which got spread during that time. And in Ayurveda from Kerala, they found this particular bark called cinchona bark, from which they made a water which was flavored with quinine, which was tonic water. It was just a water with quinine flavor made out of cinchona bark, and they gave it as medicine to everybody. But the Britishers could not drink it because it was so bloody bitter. They mixed the gin which they got from England and started drinking, and that's how gin and tonic originated. But the tonic which you get right now in the market is a lot sweeter and less bitter. It probably tonic water has got more sugar content than even your Coke, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the history of cocktails. If the students want to learn the history of cocktails, I would recommend them to go on this website called diffordsguide.com. That is like a Bible of bartender. It is by Simon Difford. It is called diffordsguide.com. I think I can put it here in the chat. So if you go on this website, you will be able to get all the information on the history of cocktails, the classic cocktails, the basics of spirits, and everything. It's an amazing website for people, students who can look up.
Anyone with a question?
Hello.
Mr. Avinash.
Yes, sir.
Like when you were telling about the making of cocktail, you said 3 methods. But what we teach is 4th method, which you I think maybe skipped. That is the blending one.
Correct.
Yeah. So just
now, these 3 are the basic methods of making a cocktail. Yes, blending is a popular method of making cocktail, which is not probably used much these days. But if you want to make a frozen margarita or a pina colada, you can use a blender to make it. But if you look at the latest trend now, blending is something which is passé, and people are looking at making clear cocktails and all of that. But I agree to your point that the basic methods of making cocktails are 4 is what the books would say: built up, blended, shaken, and stirred. Right? I do agree with you.
one more thing I noticed, like I worked in the cruise lines, so
Yeah.
over there, strawberry daiquiri was very popular, and like they used to make it and serve it in the hurricane glass, the tall one.
Correct. Correct.
So is that a like particular method or particular glass, or like it depends upon the property? Like
See, it depends on the cocktail. The culture of cocktail is different in different countries, in different venues. Mostly while you're making cocktails, which is right on the beach where the weather is very tropical, or probably you're in a cruise liner in the sea, it is hot. You would always want to drink a cocktail which has got a lot of ice and which is very cold, right? So the best way you could serve a drink which has got a lot of ice is in a tall hurricane glass. There are a lot of cocktails like pina colada, you got your zombie, a lot of other fresh fruit cocktails which are served in tall glass so that it stays chilled for a longer time. But if you go to probably an Irish bar or a proper English pub where the weather is already cold, then they would not make you tall drinks with lots of ice. They would just give you a short drinks like what I showed in a chill glass because it's already cold there and you would not want a very cold drink.
And there's a warm beer also, if I'm not wrong. Warm
Yes,
beer.
so we talk so much about drinking scotch in our country. If you actually go to Scotland, the most of them drink scotch in only two ways. One is called nip and pony. Nip and pony is having a shot of whiskey and a glass of probably a stout beer or a nice IPA pint beer. You take a shot of the whiskey and keep sipping onto the beer. That is called nip and pony. The other one is boilermaker. You pour the whiskey inside the beer and start drinking it. But here we drink a whiskey in multiple different ways.
Hi, Vira, just one question for you.
Yes,
Like, I am Saif, faculty of F&B service.
Okay.
Can you just throw some light, like how a student can, become a barman? Because there are so many students who are interested in taking a career as a barman, but sometimes they are not getting the right path and the right direction. So, like, how they can become a, successful bartender like yours, a brand ambassador in like some of the company, apart from the regular restaurant services and the operation part.
Right. So, in very simple ways, the bartending or the beverage industry is changing every second, right? There is a lot of opportunities for students to take up bartending as a career. There have been examples which I can give you of bartenders who have opened their own bars, who have worked with different liquor companies and are working at a very different level. But to get to that kind of level, basics is something which you need to be really, really strong at. How can you learn the basics? Is work in a 5-star hotel or a great bar which is in the country at the very low level to learn the basics. Now, I visit a lot of colleges in Bangalore. I visit a lot of bartenders. I do training for them. Nowadays, they have access to, Google and all kinds of things on internet where they learn from. And they kind of tilt towards finding their own way of getting things done or probably reaching the next level. But what I truly believe is working in a 5-star hotel, at least when you begin your career, gives a very strong foundation for you to learn what the trade of maybe it is bartending or how a bar functions. And then you can probably move on to different ways of how you could grow as a bartender. When I started off 10 years back as a bartender, it was considered a very menial job. Even my dad, who was in the food and beverage industry at that time for around 35 years, said, Avinash, you will never become a manager if you're just a bartender. Right? You need to, if you want to become a manager, you need to move to service. You need to grow from assistant manager to manager and things like that. How long are you going to be a bartender? How will you grow? Right? So that foundation, when I started off as a management trainee in a 5-star hotel working with bars, is what has brought me till today here. And a lot of them also ask me a question very similar to yours, is what is the career path to become a brand ambassador? To be very honest with you, when I finished college, I never knew that I would become a brand ambassador, nor was there any position called brand ambassador in the country. So I didn't plan for myself that I at the end of 10 years in my career, I should be a brand ambassador. I'm just taking up whatever is coming my way and putting my passion into whatever I do. And that is how I've reached here. I don't know what is next for me. Maybe the way things are turning around with COVID-19, maybe I might become an online brand ambassador in the future. I don't know, right? So I've not really planned anything myself, but foundation is of the basics is really important, and the passion about what you do is really important, is what I feel. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, in this
But
lockdown,
Abhinav, just one thing, if I can recollect from my memories, you were
Yeah.
very clear in the second year of the college that you want to be a bartender.
Yes, I was.
If I'm not wrong.
Sir,
Yes,
You are a very
yes.
good player. Play with the Zippo and all. Zippo Fuel, it was your favorite that time.
Right. How do you remember that?
sir,
I was in Acharya Institute that time, 2004.
All right,
We met
all
in
right.
KS College and other competitions also. T. John, other
Yeah,
just after watching memories of those days.
small world. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. It was you were the very best good on that, flavouring part with the Zippo Fuel and all that time.
Correct. Seth, I moved out of that. I worked with a lot of hotels. I worked as a manager from the service side of it. I even worked with a mobile application in between. I was actually selling mobile application to restaurants for around 8 months. I did not like it, so I came back to food and beverage. Before becoming a brand ambassador for Bacardi, I was working as a general manager with Farzi Cafe. And since while I was in college, I worked with Bacardi. The same gentleman was still with Bacardi, and he said, "There is an opportunity. Would you like to take up?" Till the time I spoke to him, I had no idea what is the job of a brand ambassador. I even told him that first tell me what is my job, let me understand and see if I'm capable of it, then I'll probably take it up. So I'm just going with the flow, whatever comes my way, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
take.
but
sir,
you have fixed with your this I have to achieve something only.
Sir, we have a question
Go on the
from
same path.
Chef, thank you very much for letting me in. So, sir, I'm Dr. Nishant Sinha, and I'm Director of Engineering for one of the software company. And thank you for
Wow.
thank you, Saurabh sir. Actually, you don't know what you have given me today. Actually, I'll just open up my camera and I will show you. I'll show you this. Can you see my
Oh,
screen?
wow. You got a great bar at home.
Oh, nice.
I can see my brand doers there.
Everything actually, I'll show you. It's all my world collections actually that I've done.
Great.
Oh,
So I can't tell you. Thank you. Very much.
don't show this. The cops are going to come to your home now.
Perfectly fine.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially during this time, don't show that.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions actually, Chef. I just want
Please.
to understand, at this age of my career, if I want to take up a course of bartending, or if I want to take up a course of doing something around this, because I have a passion for food. Actually, Chef Saurabh knows about it. Actually, I used to travel around 80 kilometers to attend some of the courses in his previous institute. Actually, and I asked him if something is there for a senior citizen like us. Probably I'd like to take up some of the courses. So are there any courses around at this age actually which I can go ahead, assist some of the guys and take up some courses like this?
Definitely, yes, Nishan. You could look up for European Bartending School, which is right now there in Goa and Mumbai. I'm not sure if they still have it. They do have a 2 months or a 3 months course. Apart from that, if you just want to understand the basics of all the spirits, how you could drink it, how you can make a great drink, they do have a weekend course of just 2 days. I think they do provide accommodation and they teach you the basics. They are known to be the best in having the curriculum for bartenders across the world. They are from Spain and they follow the international curriculum. That's one of the best schools currently in India. If you are looking at just learning what spirits is about, what mixology is about, and so forth and so on, because a lot of other colleges in the country would just teach you flaring, which is on the glamorous side, juggle with bottles and stuff, which Saif was just reminded me of my old days where I used to throw fire from my mouth, Zippo fluid.
We all used to enjoy that for that time, actually.
Can you type in the school name that you mentioned? That will be
Yeah,
great.
I'll do that. It's
Yeah,
called EBS.
So Avinash, that's a 2-day course. That's what
They
you
have
said.
different courses. I can maybe put you in touch with the guys who are running it, and they will probably explain you everything.
And Saurabh sir, thank you very much again. Like if you have any of the courses that is available for any outsider, those who are not a part of as a student.
Sure, sir. We'll let you know, sir. We'll let you know.
Thank you.
So we have some nice things lined up for you in the month of June and July.
Yes.
Got some very nice courses lined in the month of June and
We'll
July.
get in touch, sir.
Yes, you're gonna enjoy those days.
All goes well, obviously.
Yes. No, we'll do online courses.
Oh, online,
No,
obviously, that
we
will
have
be
practicals one. We have practicals one
We
too,
will
sir.
do it.
there.
Yeah. Chaliye, sir. Take care. Thank you so much, Avinash. Thank you. Any other questions
Welcome.
that are left? Anyone wants to ask some question?
Kinshuk, you should ask. You're planning for a career in the same line.
Kinshuk is there.
He's there.
Yes.
Yeah, he's there.
He's there.
Kinshuk.
Yes, sir.
He's just preparing for the question here.
There was a small question. Sir, I was trying to make a flaming cocktail. All right, so
Right.
there's no cocktail which is above 80 proof in India. So can you just recommend me a
Sorry, there is no
something that
cocktail above? I didn't get that
Sorry?
question, buddy.
Which?
I'm trying to make a
Flaming cocktail.
flaming cocktail, and there's no cocktail, there's no alcohol which is above 80 proof that can be put on fire easily. In
Okay.
India, there's no. When I was back in EBS, I actually did a flaring course in EBS. So when I did that, I even asked a bartender over there who was teaching me. He
Right.
said the Indian law doesn't allow you to do doesn't let you sell such cocktail spirits.
Mhm.
So I was thinking, do you know any spirit that is available in India which can be put on fire easily?
Buddy, any spirit which has got 40% alcohol lights up. You don't need an 80% alcohol to actually do flaming cocktails. Any alcohol, I mean any spirit like whiskey, rum, gin, vodka, which is available in the market easily flames up. It's not at all necessary that you would need an 80%.
I
Spirit.
tried. It
If
doesn't.
you use an 80%
Brandy catches fire very quickly. Brandy, sir.
brandy, all
Brandy, rum,
spirits have
all
42.8%. Anything, rum, gin, vodka. Because if you're going to use an 80% spirit and flame it up, it's going to break the glass immediately.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't put it off. It's going to be very hot.
Kinshuk, an
No,
easier
actually, I
way,
tried.
easier way Kinshuk will for you will be just make your alcohol a bit warm before lighting it up. Because we do this with the rum when we use making crepes and certain kind of desserts also we do. Just warm your alcohol a bit with the lighter. Do not use the blue flame lighter, a regular yellow flame lighter.
Indirect.
Yeah.
Yes, heat that up and then you light up. It will light up much
But
faster.
why would you want to make a flaming cocktail, buddy? That's my question.
I wanted to try it. I mean, what's the harm, right? I wanted to
To
try
be
it.
honest with you, right? That's where I said that basics is something which is really important. If you're going to use a spirit and then burn it, the alcohol is what is burning inside that. It's going to burn and evaporate. The drink will not have any alcohol because you've already burned the alcohol.
Yes, I know that. It was I saw it on some video about the flaming cocktails. I wanted to give it a try.
All right, okay.
They
Any other
make flaming desserts.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. All the best, Kinshuk. Take care.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, or should we wind up the session?
I think that.
I think we are done.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was very
Sarah.
good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
Avinash.
having
Very
me
good.
in the session.
Thank you, Nash. Thank you so much for giving your experience, sharing
Cheers.
experience and knowledge to our students. And thanks for
I'm
remembering
glad
my
to know
college
that we
days.
met so many years back, man.
It's been like 17, 16 years approximately.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Great.
All
Good luck.
all
So
round.
how's everything? How's Bangalore? Is this like same?
Bangalore, I think in terms of the COVID, I think it's not that bad. The area where I live in is pretty okay. There has not been any cases so far, so it's been good. But being,
But still
I mean,
everyone is
working always outside, visiting different bars, meeting people, I feel like I'm inside a jail now. I can't go talk to
So
people.
Naozer, you wanted to ask something?
but
One
you
question.
you have all the stuff to spend time.
Huh?
You have
Avinash,
You
all
all-
the stuff to spend time with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Avinash, do you know Arijit Bose?
Of course, sir. Of course.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
legend.
good family friend of ours. We meet him so often here.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah.
Great. I met him last month. Last month he was here in Bangalore. We had an India cocktail week, which was going on. I met him at that time. I keep meeting him often. We chat sometimes on WhatsApp. Sometimes I give him a call.
Yeah.
He's very well known in the industry. He's made a
Yeah,
huge,
no,
huge
he's
sale.
very well known.
Yeah,
Is
I
he
look up him.
also, he's not a Bacardi ambassador, is he? Or
No, he was one of the first ambassadors for Bacardi in India.
yeah.
Then he moved on to different roles. He was also ambassador for Monkey 47 gin for Southeast Asia. I think he was based out of Singapore. He has his own brand of rum now called the Lovers Rum.
Oh yeah?
I don't know if he told you about that. Oh yeah, yes. It's not come to India yet. It's coming soon.
My kids know about it because they know him better. I meet him just off and on.
All right, all right. So
Lovers
he
Rum,
is
is it? Lovers Rum.
Lovers. Yeah, the Lovers Rum. It's made in Amsterdam in Netherlands.
Wow.
It's not come to India yet, I guess. So probably is bringing it soon to Delhi or Bombay is what I heard from him. So, yeah, he's doing really great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers,
you,
sir.
Avinash.
Good luck. I hope you
Take
all
care.
keep safe, stay healthy.
You
Cheers.
Take care. Take care. Thank
Same
you.
to you.
okay.
Bye
Take care.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hi, chef.